Now joining me in studio to discuss scam prevention within the mailing system and banks, President of Pack and Mail Sean Harrigan and AVP Branch Manager 3 of NBT Bank Lois J. Mooney. Hi guys, how are you doing today?
Thank you, Avery.
Fantastic.
Yeah, it's nice to see you again, and thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, so I think this is a huge topic, especially since after the holidays, people are finding new ways to go about scamming. So first off, let's kind of talk about some of the red flags within shipping that you want to talk about.
Well, the thing I get the most is people get emails from different shipping companies, supposedly, saying they need additional information for their package. But if they take a look at the email address it's coming from, it's not FedEx, it's not Amazon, it's not UPS, it's not even the post office. It's just something, gmail.com. And it's some little guy behind his computer from another country trying to scam people.
And you wanted to talk about, too, you have a little story about shipping cash, which is not okay. So kind of talk about that.
Well, this is how we got to know each other. A woman came in, brought in a package. Around Christmas time, we shipped it off overnight. No red flag for us whatsoever. And my people are trained to try to catch that because it's illegal to ship cash. And 99% of the time, if someone's shipping cash, they're getting scammed. So we try to prevent it before it even leaves the store. And I'll let you take it on from there.
So when people come in to do a large withdrawal, we like to ask a lot of questions as to what is this money going to be used for? Is it to make a purchase? Are we going to go shopping? What are some of the things that you plan on doing? And we like to be able to have an honest conversation with the customer so that we can ensure that there's no threats that are that they might be at. So what had happened, and this happens unfortunately more than I'd like to say that it does, but what had happened is that she had come in and conducted a withdrawal and then took the cash and went to go send it in the mail off to the fraudster. And then when we're asking questions to be able to determine, what exactly is it that you're doing with this? And sometimes people get a little concerned that we're getting a little bit too nosy into their business, but we're just trying to do the best that we can to make sure that you're not getting taken advantage of.
Yeah, and especially with money too, you have to be extra safe.
Yes.
And the bank is where it all is, so that makes sense. And we kind of talked about this earlier, so some people are maybe targeted more than others, like it can happen to the elderly population, so kind of talk about that and steps they should maybe take or look out for.
So what they do is, the fraudsters, is they make it seem like is a bit of an emergency. So when the fraudsters are calling you or texting you, they're going to be very vague, and they're going to try to keep you on the phone as long as possible. So for me, a red flag is going to be when I see a customer on their phone texting and the entire time that I'm interacting with them. That's going to be a bit of a red flag for me. And the fraudsters will make it seem very emergency oriented, so you don't have a lot of time to think about what you're doing, and they're going to pressure you to hurry up and do these different tasks to be able to get the money out of your possession and into their possession as quickly as possible, so that there's no way that you can turn around and change your mind. Whether they ask you to do a wire transfer or purchase gift cards or even cash and ship it, they just make it very emergency oriented, and then you don't have a lot of time to even consider, does this make sense? That's where we come in, and we try to ask as many questions as possible to determine ourselves if it makes sense. So, for our standard customers that we get to know on a daily basis, we can easily say, this is outside your normal pattern. Tell me why you're doing this. Or for the people that we don't recognize, I know that this is your first time in the branch. Tell me why. So asking all of these other, it might seem intrusive questions. It's more so for prevention, to try to help make sure that we're doing the best for our customers.
Yeah, I totally get that, and I hope, more people understand that and like hearing that from you too, because it is good to answer all of those questions. And one question I have for both of you, I would say, so you know, with people like taking steps. So, for example, I'll get a text message from UPS that I have a package coming, and I don't know if that's real because I order from Amazon all the time. I order, you know, things all the time. I love online shopping. So, really, what can we mainly look out for to tell if it's, you know, real or fake?
The main thing you can look out for is see where it's coming from, although that's not always true. One day I got a phone call. Caller ID says NYSEG. Guy calls me up saying we're swapping out your meter and you got to pay X amount of money, otherwise we'll be shutting off your power. So my first question is, why am I paying for you shutting off my meter, swapping out my meter? And he started getting a little belligerent, which was a big red flag for me. I said, well, I'll just go down to NYSEG and pay it. Oh, no, get gift cards and use them, and I'll be down to collect it. Okay, come on down. I'll have the state troopers waiting for you. He hung up. You got to be extra careful. If they ever put pressure on you, you got to do it right away. Big red flag. We had a woman years ago who got a phone call that her grandson is kidnapped, and she's got to ship this money to her grandson.
I've heard about ones like that too. Those are terrible.
And she shipped it off. Later that night, she got a phone call from her grandson. I'm not kidnapped. State troopers called me up to get the package rerouted to come back 3 o'clock in the morning. I'm a nice guy, but I don't really appreciate a 3 o'clock in the morning phone call. But I got dressed, went there because I understand.
Yeah.
You know,
Well, that's awful.
they
Like, I
pick
couldn't imagine
on
that.
the elderly, and maybe they have a little extra money. Maybe they worked in IBM or whatever. But number one, that's none of their concern. Number two, they're not going to be getting any more money. They're not going to be back in the workforce to earn more. So it really hurts when they lose a large chunk of money. And I really irritates me that that's who they prey on.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's totally understandable. Like I said, it's just gross and it's scary, you know, and it's just, there's awful people out there that want to do these things, and, you know. But I want to say thank you guys so much for coming on today. I really appreciate it, and I think this is so important. So thank you guys for kind of spreading the word and teaching us something today.
Okay. If I can say anything, it's illegal to ship cash. So
Okay.
if they're telling you to ship cash, no.
All right, perfect. Well, thank you guys again so much.
Thank you.
For those of you who might have missed those details, scams, particularly targeting seniors, are increasingly common and often involve convincing victims to send money or valuables. Scammers create a sense of urgency, playing on emotions like fear or greed, and often use secrecy to prevent the victim from seeking help. It's important for individuals to consult trusted family or professionals before making unfamiliar financial decisions. And we're